Welcome to Buckets. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network, joined, as always, by professional bettor Raheem Palmer. This is the Wednesday workshop. Every Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern, we break down the Wednesday slate, going over what the best bets are, how to bet it, the process, our models, all that type of stuff, how Raheem approaches these games. You're going to learn a lot. It's about the process of betting as well as getting those sweet best bets in. You can find all of our analysis, as well as you can track Raheem's picks in the Action Network app, the award-winning Action Network app, available on your mobile device right now. You can find where the bets and money are coming in, all of that information. Check it out on your mobile device right now. All right, let's not waste any more time. Raheem, what's your best bet up top? First one for Wednesday.
I'm going with the Utah Jazz -3.5. I think it's 4. Wynn actually just pulled it off, but they had it -3.5. Look, I mean, these are two teams going in two different directions. The Lakers didn't make any trades coming off the trade deadline. They lost 3 straight and 4 out of the last 5. The Jazz have won 6 straight games. You got Rudy Gobert back. You got Donovan Mitchell back. And I know the Lakers played well against the Warriors, but as you see, the Warriors have been struggling. They lost 3 out of the last 4 games, and their defensive rating has slipped from first, giving up 105.6 points per 100 possessions, to 116.9. We saw it last night. They struggled with the Clippers. So the Lakers, to me, they're still a rough team. When you look at this Jazz team, look, the Jazz, they have the top ranked offensive rating in the half court. They're playing a Lakers defense at 17th in the half court. And I just think these are two teams that the Jazz are just a much better team. I think this line is short. My model makes it 6.5. So at 4, it's so short. Also, I think the Lakers have a math problem in this game. You got a Jazz team that leads the league in field goals from behind the arc, and they're making the 6th highest percentage. Lakers just not gonna be able to match up point for point. So I like the Jazz in this one.
So Wynn is where we get these lines from. Wynn posts the lines earlier than any other book, which we appreciate our friends over at WinBet for doing that. With this having been pulled off the board, do we think it pops back up at a different number?
I think it may pop back up at around 4.5. I'm seeing there's an offshore book that has it 4.5 now, but even then, I think it's short at that number. So I'm rolling with it. I actually wrote about it for the post tomorrow, so we had to get that in around 5 p.m. and that's when they had 3.5. So I jumped all over it.
All right. So what do you have this at projected at again?
I have it at Jazz -6.5.
Okay. I've got 7.4. So I show the same kind of edge that you do. No sort of indication that Rudy Gobert is going to sit. He came back last night. Now it's the last game for All-Star break. So that's always like a weird spot for all the teams. Like their focus and attention is always all over the place. Like it's possible, I guess, that the Jazz could be with, 2. I mean, it's Wednesday game, right? I don't expect them to be like, hey, you could get a 2-day start on the All-Star break. Sometimes guys will sit on the last game before the All-Star break. I'm not expecting this here, But we should, I mean, here's a question though. How do you weigh that versus if you wait to make sure that they're in, losing CLV on it? Like, is it just like, do we just assume they're going to play and go with it? Because like part of me thinks even if one of them, I still think maybe the Jazz can win this game and cover.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, look, the Jazz are on this 6-game win streak, and to me, I think when a team is on a streak like that, I kind of want to roll with them, especially before the break, because I just think they want to go into the break on a high note. You know, like I don't think they want the streak to end right before the break, or it's just like the Lakers are kind of reeling. And like you look at a team like the Warriors are reeling. They're ready for the All-Star break. And the Jazz to me look like a team that they had their little bumps in the road and now they're rolling. So I think the game when they come back from the All-Star break, that's a game where I don't want to touch them because, you know, it's like they were rolling coming into the All-Star break. You had that time off, now they got to get reacclimated. So I think this is the time to play them.
Okay. All right. I like that one. I'm with you on that one. I think that's a good one. I'll have them in parlays as well. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about on the board?
Let's go to your pick. And then, I may have something.
Okay. So I want to look at the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets taking on the New York Knicks, and obviously the Subway Showdown. No Kyrie for this because it's in New York City, right? Knicks are 5.5. I think that's high. I think that's
it's actually 6.5 now. It just moved up.
I will grab that at 6.5 too. So I don't like the movement towards it. But look, watch that game last night when they broke the losing streak versus the Kings. I had the Kings. And I think Seth Curry and Andre Drummond make a big impact. It gives you another ball handler. Like this team is just pretty decent once you get an actual ball handler and a big on the team, right? Like they do have guys like Cam Thomas. They do have guys like LaMarcus Aldridge. They do have guys like Patty Mills. So even without the superstars, because obviously Simmons is not going to play, no Kyrie and no KD, I get this line being what it is, but I don't trust the Knicks to cover 5.5, much less 6.5 in this spot. I don't think the Knicks deserve that kind of respect, especially with how much their defense tends to fall apart. The Knicks' entire problem is that their starters are weak, right? Like their starters are the real issue. And maybe the bench is able to run it up, but Tibbs plays starters more. And I don't know that the Knicks starters have a huge advantage here. So I've got this for full season numbers at Nets minus 7.5, right? So I can't get to it. If I take out KD, let's give him 4. That's 3.5. If I take out, Harden / Simmons, let's take out Harden. That gets me to a pick 'em. If I take out Kyrie, that gets me to Knicks minus 3. I've still got 2 lines of value, and that's before we factor in Seth Curry and Andre Drummond's impact. So I like the Nets here. I will probably play the Nets on the money line as well.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. I think that the Knicks are just struggling so much. And the one thing I just don't like about Tibbs' rotations is that he's playing a lot of the older guys. He has so many younger guys, and I feel like those are probably the guys that need to be getting minutes right now. So I'm not mad at this one at all. I kind of was actually leaning over for this one. Like when I run my model for like the last month, like neither one of these two teams have been playing defense. When you look at the Nets, they're 28th in defensive rating over the last 2 weeks. You look at the Knicks, they're 24th in defensive rating. And while neither one of these offenses have really gotten going, I think the Nets offense should be better with Seth Curry in the mix and Andre Drummond. And I also think the Knicks are going to be able to score here. So I think the 217, it feels a little bit short. But that's just a lean for me right now.
Here's one I want to know what their number is at because I want to try and evaluate how to fade the model here. The total on Raptors Wolves with the Wolves on a 3rd and 4 nights back to back tomorrow is 230.5. What do you have this model at?
If I use just the last month, I have it 235.
Yeah.
I think. In fact, damn, I just accidentally closed it out. My full season numbers. Hold on, I'm bringing it back up. I know my full season numbers are a lot lower. Damn, I just closed it out by accident.
That's all right. So I've got this like way down, right? Like my model always overestimates the Wolves defense because it's good in the half court at 217. I want to fade it. So the Wolves, I just did a podcast with Dane Moore, who covers the Wolves, and he was talking about how the defense has fallen off a cliff. Over the last month, they've basically started playing switch more. The Wolves players told Finch, hey, playing at the level which we've been successful at is exhausting. We can switch. Let us switch. We can do it. Narrator, they could not do it. Like they cannot defend one-on-one in the situations. It takes away everything that's kind of good about this team defensively. So I tend to think if we look at this approach, plus the Raptors, dog tired, long minutes, gave up a big number last night to the Pels, having trouble. Like, I don't want to bet the side on this at all. And it's an exhaustion standpoint, but I also think if you're tired, you're sloppier on defense. I think it's one of the misnomers is that instead of not having your jumper legs, I think that you're more likely to get beat on the perimeter because it's all an effort thing. So I kind of lean towards the over here, even at a 230.5 number on Raptors Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense. But I mean, look, like I just put up my full season numbers. My full season numbers are 223.
Yep.
Over the last month, I have them 235. Yeah. So, like, I the other day against the Bulls, that Timberwolves Bulls number close 241. So that's like that tells you where the defense is at this point. So,
and then the other one I wanted to touch on was Warriors Nuggets. So I've got, unsurprisingly, the numbers are going to work out to a big edge in the Warriors. I've got an 8.7 versus a 5.5 line. Warriors are 5.5 point favorites at home versus the Denver Nuggets. No Draymond, right? Let's check off 3 points for Draymond. That gets us down to 5.7. So we're still slightly covering for the Warriors. I do kind of like the edge here for Denver. I think Denver's live in this spot. I feel like I like the matchup. Denver beat them earlier in their first game. The Nuggets have not been good in Pepsi or not Pepsi, Golden Center 1, their arena. However, part of that's because like every time that they've gone there, they've suffered a major injury over the last like 2 years. Jamal Murray tore his ACL at Golden Center 1. Will Barton hurt himself, then was out for the first round of the playoffs at Golden Center 1 a few weeks later. Preseason, the Nuggets stupidly go to Golden Center 1 for a preseason game. Michael Porter Jr. hurt himself in that game. That's where he first hurt his back. So, like, kind of scary there. However, with Jokic and them only having Kevon Looney and Jonathan Kuminga inside, with how the Nuggets have been playing, with how well Aaron Gordon has been playing, Steph Curry's been better. He had another big game last night, but you don't know what you're going to get from Klay Thompson. He has 30 on Saturday when Steph has a bad game. He has a bad game last night when Steph has a good game. The Warriors are a little desperate here. I'm sure they don't want to go into the All-Star break with on a losing streak, but I think maybe just playing the points, that might be the way to go. I think this Nuggets team is better than their number is going to allow for the full season because they've played more Bones Highland. They figured out more rotations. They're playing Facu Campazzo less. I like the Nuggets a little bit at 5.5, especially because I think this probably goes up to like 6.5 at some point in the very near future. Like I would imagine this moves towards Warriors instead of going towards Nuggets.
Yeah, I kind of lean with you on the Nuggets. Like last night, I watched that Clippers game and Zubac got whatever he wanted. 8 of 10 from the field, 18 points. It just felt like the Warriors just had no answer for them at center. And I think Jokic is going to be a real problem for this team. If anybody else can hit some open shots in the same way that the Clippers did last night, I think the Nuggets are live. And also the Warriors just look like a tired team ready for the All-Star break. When you look at the Warriors, they've really been struggling to defend lately. Over the last 2 weeks, they're 23rd in defensive rate. They're giving up 116 points per 100 possessions. So this team's really not defending. And I can't help but think they're live. Actually, I'm leaning towards the over in this one. I think they have the total at 226. My model actually makes this for the last month 223, but I think that the fact that they're setting this total so high, it's very telling.
All right, one more I want to get to on the side, and I think we should talk about the total as well. Actually, here, Grizzlies Blazers. Okay, Grizz on a back-to-back. Portland's been playing sneaky well. The line is still 12.5. That's preposterous. Like I'm absolutely betting the Grizzlies here, or the Blazers. Like the Blazers have shown that they will hang in these games. Teams are overlooking them. Anthony Simons is playing well. Josh Hart has played great last night. I don't want to lay 12.5 with Memphis. I want to actively grab them at more than double-digit favorite. This team's really good, and they do show a higher capacity for blowouts than most teams. The full season numbers lean towards the under here. I've got it at 221 versus a 228. I feel like that's soft given how fast I feel like this is going to be up and down, up and down. Grizzlies running in transition, Simons and company running right back. I like the Blazers and I like the over here a little bit.
I can understand the Blazers, especially with the Grizzlies on a back-to-back. And like you said, the Blazers have been feisty. Like, I mean, for them to go out there and beat the Bucks the other night, like that said a lot about this team. My numbers over the last month have it at 223, and I think my full season numbers have it 224. So it's just
okay.
It's a matter of, do you think the Blazers can score? Because I do think the Grizzlies are going to get theirs.
I'm doing the math on what this looks like. I'm looking at the okay. So
because it's not like the Blazers have like a great half-court offense.
All right, so the Blazers team total on this is haven't posted it yet, but it's gonna project out at basically 107.5. And for full season, I've got it at 105. But with how they've been playing lately and how fast they've been playing, I kind of want to look at Blazers team total over. Do you think do you think the Grizzlies can slow them down? They're a good defensive team. Like Grizzlies really are a good defensive team. I just feel like with how they're moving the ball, I feel like they're going to have success scoring in this game. Like the Blazers, no matter what, I feel like are going to put up points.
Preston, they played at 96 possessions against the Knicks the other night. And through the first half of the game, it wasn't like they were scoring. And then they played against the Bucks. They played about 104. So,
yeah.
And then I guess it's team dependent. And I guess the Grizzlies are going to play a faster pace. So,
yeah.
To me, it's anytime. One thing I'll say is when I see that my model is like, there's times where my model will be like 3 points off on the under. But when it's like 6 or 7 points off, I'm thinking that the odds makers have a good idea that this is going over. So at 228 with my model at 223, it's like, to me, that's saying that they're expecting a faster paced game.
So Ja is sitting tonight with an ankle. We're recording this on Tuesday night at 7. We were do this Tuesday and Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern on YouTube. He's sitting tonight versus the Pelicans with an ankle. Maybe he's gonna play tomorrow, but that's like enough for me to be like, I'm betting it. I'm actively, while we're on the show, I'm gonna bet the Blazers right now. Like if Ja sits both of these games, there's zero reason why they should be 12.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
All right, let's get wrap it up for Buckets. Thanks for joining us on the Wednesday workshop. We'll be back tomorrow. If you want to catch us on YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday, we'll break down the Thursday slate with Joe Dolera before the All-Star break. On Thursday, we'll have a special All-Star episode. We'll be on the Action Network podcast as well, breaking down everything with the All-Star game, sides, totals, I guess, for that incredible no one cares game. We'll do dunk contest, 3-point contest. I'm running a big 3-point contest breakdown like I always do every year. We hit on Buddy Hield a couple of years ago. We should have hit on Zach LaVine last year. Gonna be fun. Check it out. All the All-Star content on the Action Network and the Action Network app. Thanks for joining us. Let's get buckets.